wanna I would hope that they wouldn't have it so that Denzel is just like he's been in Wakanda the whole time. Like, oh, I was always here, and like, no, where were you?
Can you imagine? He was like, yeah, if the camera just panned to the left,
just
you would have seen me.
more. Like,
Coming
no.
up on this week's headlines.
It turns out it might be a pain to work with The Rock.
Good news, we're getting Miles Morales in the MCU. Bad news, it all might depend on Sony.
Wicked accidentally promotes an adult website.
And finally, Denzel Washington is headed to Wakanda, and we're going to tell you who we should play.
My name's Taylor, that's Jermaine, and this is your show recapping headlines throughout the week. This is In Case You Missed It for the week of November 11th. While promoting Red 1, Dwayne Johnson, or The Rock, was questioned about allegations of him being a pain to work with on set. There's stories of him being very late to set, costing the studio millions of dollars, and because of his lateness, he had to pee in bottles. Now, you would think that the reasonable thing for Dwayne to do would be to deny the allegations or deflect the questions. During a recent interview with GQ, he actually admitted to doing everything. Well, he facetiously said that he was late to set, but he did admit to peeing in bottles. Listen, being late to set once or twice, fine, forgivable. But peeing in bottles? Sir, you are a menace. You need to be stopped. I have so many questions. What bottles are you peeing in? Where are the bottles going? Are the bottles going to be on set? Why did you think this was an okay idea? The Rock has pretty much put on a perfect persona for so long, and honestly, I think ever since Black Adam bombed, he hasn't been the same.
Last week, Kevin Feige revealed when we could finally see Miles Morales in the MCU during the D23 panel in Brazil. He said that Miles will make his appearance in Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, and then shortly after that, he will make his MCU debut. But, excuse me, does this mean that we have to rely on Sony to give us a proper Miles Morales introduction? Beyond the Spider-Verse was supposed to come out at the beginning of the year, but now has been removed from the schedule entirely. Also, is he saying the MCU version of Miles is gonna appear in Beyond the Spider-Verse? I'm not sure, but I think it's safe to pencil him in for Avengers Secret Wars.
The movie Wicked, based on the hit Broadway musical, released some toys by Mattel to advertise for the movie. And on the toy box, it also had a link to the movie's website. The only problem is that instead of wickedmovie.com, it was just wicked.com, which directed people to an adult website. Now look, I refuse to believe that this was an accident. Like, who even goes to a movie's website anymore? You just go to the movie's Instagram. Whoever did this typo knows exactly what they were doing. I refuse to believe it was a mistake.
While doing press for Gladiator 2, Denzel Washington revealed that Ryan Coogler is actually writing him a role in the next Black Panther movie. This news came as a shock to a lot of us, but we know who he should play and who he shouldn't play. So one of the things I absolutely don't want to see him as a variant of T'Challa. We know that this movie is probably going to take place after Secret Wars, and the variant, the whole multiversal thing, I'm done with it. Denzel is too old, and I think the next T'Challa we see, if it's not his son that's named T'Challa, I think his name. If it's not his son, I want to see who's gonna get recasted as him. We know Denzel Washington is he's close to retirement. This is one of the last films that he's gonna do. I just don't want to see. I don't want to see him as a variant of T'Challa of any kind.
I would hope that they wouldn't have it so that Denzel is just like he's been in Wakanda the whole time. Like, oh, I was always here, and like, no, where were you?
Can you imagine? He was like, yeah, if the camera just panned to the left, you would have seen me.
More. Like, no, please don't make it.
Just like Far From Home, like people were mad that Mysterio was like there all along, like Tony Stark stuff. That's what I don't want him to be Wakandan. Absolutely not. Don't want that.
It wouldn't make much sense to me for that to happen.
But here's the thing: he's such a popular person, a popular figure, just in entertainment wise. It wouldn't even make sense for him to say, "Hey, I'm Wakandan, but I've either been away or I've been over." It just wouldn't make sense, especially when we've seen tribes like M'Baku's tribe, the Jabari tribe, try to overthrow the Wakandan government and stuff. And then we see in Black Panther 2, they actually bonded together And then Namor, it just wouldn't make sense. So don't want that. I think we can both agree. Mm-hmm. Could you see him as an antagonist? It can be as an antagonist.
Yeah, I can. I mean, he can play any role, so that is the positive. I mean, one of the many positives about having Denzel in the movie. So I could see it.
Yeah. I can see it, but I don't think I want it.
Marvel, I don't know if I would want that.
Marvel has gotten so many great actors to play antagonists, i.e. Christian Bale as Gore. Completely wasted. I don't even know why he would. Anyway.
Michael B. Jordan was an antagonist.
No, Michael B. Jordan was an antagonist and he appeared. Okay, so real quick before we get to this, I have a question. Would you, in the multiverse, would you want to see Michael B. Jordan, like after Secret Wars or whatever, as a variant to come over here to play the new Black Panther? Would you want to see Eric? Because I think he would still be Eric Killmonger, right? So if he was to come over from the multiverse and to play the next Black Panther, would you want to see that?
I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
Nah, dude, he was such a good villain.
Yeah, I don't.
He was such a good villain.
And again, he's one of those people. He could pretty much play whatever. But no, I think.
And Marvel has
seeing Killmonger as Killmonger was just special as it is. So I just
we could have him as some sort of Wakanda villain. We absolutely could have that. But I would want him to see, especially if this is coming after Secret Wars. Because not on schedule, it came to a shock to a lot of us that Black Panther 3 was, I guess, in development, as he said. He said it kind of facetiously, but I honestly think he was 100% being honest. I want to see him after Secret Wars, Black Panther 3 after Secret Wars. I want to see him as a transitionary figure, i.e. the father of Storm. Hear me out. So the way they're doing X-Men, they're not gonna focus heavily on Wolverine, and I don't think they should. But Storm is African in the comics. She married a lot of people, but she did have a relationship with T'Challa. I believe she was married to T'Challa. She is African. If something happened that, you know, T'Challa or Wakanda, Lord its borders, it's in Africa. He was the father to Storm. That would be such a great way to introduce Storm into the MCU.
Yeah, that would be great.
Instead of just having, hey, we have this African, this amazing OP Omega level mutant already in the X-Men. You know, just like kind of putting her in, because they have done Storm dirty for so many years.
Yeah, sure.
Like, how many memorable Halle Berry Storm scenes? The only memorable Storm line or scene was this one right here.
Do you know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything else.
Didn't she like completely lose her accent in the other film?
She did. It was like strong African accent, and then gone. I'm not. Yeah. So I think with the best role for him to be, I don't want him. He's probably gonna be a one-off character. I don't want him to be like, I was here the whole time. Dude, no, you weren't. Like, it would just make me mad. Like, you were here the whole time. The Queen died. T'Challa died. Like,
where were you? Yeah,
the Atlantean, like, sea people was trying to take over Wakanda. Where were you? So, but if he's the father of Storm, African princess, it's a great way to introduce Storm. It's a great way to ingratiate him into the film as well. So,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Let's hope it happens. This has been In Case You Missed It for the week of November 11th.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Shout out to Hooligan Comedy. Thank you for always being there and supporting us. It really means a lot to us and to the channel. And we will most likely, not me, maybe her. She'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Subscribe for more headlines throughout the week, games, and 60-second reviews.